Hey all you Slashaholics, welcome to Slash Sisters. I am Slash Sister Jen.
And I am Slash Sister Hallie, and we want to welcome you back to your favorite channel for horror movie reviews by true horror movie fans.
That'd be us. And hey, if it's your first time here, make sure you slash that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of our videos. And, feel free to go back into the back catalog and watch them all too.
And also check out the Afterlife podcast that we just started.
Yes.
We have one episode up right now. Actually, by the time this airs, there might be two.
There should be two by then. So make sure you check those things out and slash that subscribe button.
Today we are going to take a step back into the world of Jigsaw and dive back into one of our favorite movie franchises.
Yeah. For sure. I'm so excited for this one because, not to give myself away, but it's my favorite out of the whole franchise.
We actually just established this right before we started shooting, so.
Yeah. I don't know, man. That new Saw X was pretty dang good. So, I don't know, it's way up there.
Spiral was good, too, for what it was.
So, I have to admit, I have not seen Spiral yet. So, I know. How am I going to comment on a franchise that I haven't even seen the whole entire thing on? But I'm going to, because I've seen this. So, yeah, we're going to jump right back into that pit of needles that is Saw 2.
So, let's see if his blueprint for salvation will breed a worthy generation.
What was that?
What? You always get to do the Ice Nine Kills reference. I thought it'd be my turn this time.
All right,
fine. I mean, you know what? The jig is up.
The jig is up. So well played there, Hallie. Stealing my Ice Nine Kills references.
You can't have all the fun.
I know. So, we open this absolutely gory story on police informant Michael, who wakes up in a room with a spike-filled mask locked around his neck.
On a nearby screen, Billy, the puppet...
Think of it like a Venus flytrap.
Oh, we should get him out. Let's get him out. This is very special, actually. Before we continue on with our plot lines here, Billy the puppet here is signed by Shawnee Smith. We gotta have something that we can... Sorry.
Here. I don't know if that's gonna be strong enough to hold him up.
There you go, Billy. Have a leg. So, yes, this is actually signed by Shawnee Smith, one of our other Slash Sisters. Miss Slash Sister Amanda loaned him to us to keep on set. She got it signed at one of the cons that she went to.
And Shawnee Smith plays Amanda.
Amanda, yeah.
In the Saw franchise,
yeah, exactly.
Ironically enough. So.
For sure. So, yeah.
On a nearby screen, this little fucker...
I want to play a game.
Tells him that the key to the death mask is located inside his eye. Interesting note, the man that's playing the cloaked figure in this...
Yeah, it's the director of the movie, right?
It's Darren Lynn Bosman, but they retconned it to be Lawrence Gordon in, I believe, Saw the Final Chapter.
Yeah,
because
when they reveal Dr. Gordon as being
an accomplice,
yeah.
Right, yeah.
He cannot bring himself to cut his own eye, which I don't... That's like a common theme that happens with a lot of these traps.
Right, so like the running thing is how much blood are you willing to shed to stay alive?
Exactly, and how much are you willing to hurt your own body in order to stay alive? Not just shedding blood, really, I can't imagine trying to cut behind my own eye. That's...
With the exception of Amanda, though, because she had to kill somebody else to free herself.
That's
in the first one.
That's true.
So...
Well, and Dr. Gordon had to leave somebody to die, too.
He didn't have to leave him to
I guess
die,
he didn't have to, but he
got
did.
picked up by Amanda and whatever.
He can't bring himself to cut his own eye, but either way, he is killed when the mask closes like a Venus flytrap.
Ironically enough, this contraption, the gun in the door, and I believe they said the razor blade box. Had they been real, were 100% functioning.
Right. Yeah, they've said that it was like 500% medically accurate or something like that. I read that somewhere today.
It was like on a medical podcast.
Yeah.
And they used that metric based off of the human centipede.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I read that too. Yeah, I guess we read the same article, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We then meet Detective Eric Matthews that starts Donnie Wahlberg on a very long career of playing a police officer on film.
Doesn't it really?
Yeah, this is his first time
and
playing.
like Blue Bloods, like how many seasons of that has he been on?
Right, Blue Bloods,
I mean,
Dead Silence.
Yeah.
You know, I think he's played a cop in another movie as well.
He does play a good cop, even if he's not the greatest cop in this movie.
He's an asshole in this.
And he's a bad cop.
He is picking up his son, who has just been caught shoplifting.
Go figure.
Mm-hmm.
And, geez, I wonder why he doesn't get in trouble.
It helps to have a detective father.
I imagine it does. At the scene of Michael's murder, we kind of like that. We show kind of like the not so great relationship between father and son, and then it kind of just transitions into the scene of Michael's murder, where Detective Carey has found a message basically telling Detective Matthews to come to the scene.
So
and that message...
Right. Interesting side note, there was a subplot that was eventually cut, but they kind of filmed with like a little bit of it.
Yeah.
That Detective Matthews and Detective Carey had an affair, which led to Detective Matthews' wife leaving him and causing the strain on his relationship with his son and all this other bullshit. So you can see like you can see the banter. You can see the banter between them when they're talking about like, well, why don't you work in the Jigsaw case? Because I got too much fucking shit on my plate. That's why.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
later, after Matthews realizes he knows where the lock on Michael's trap, he actually has
like laying in bed, right?
He's laying in bed, and it like torments him, wakes him up, and we also get what this franchise is famous for: the quick cuts.
Yeah.
Like quick cuts,
and it's
like
a lot.
Like there's 3 cuts within a second.
Yeah.
And it's all throughout this film.
Especially like the last 5 minutes of the movie is all just cut after cut after cut after cut after cut.
But he recognizes the steel manufacturer on the trap, and it was made at.
What is it?
At
what was the name of the factory? I can't even remember. Like Wish.
No.
Something with a W.
Wilson.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Wilson Steel.
Yeah. That's right.
So he joins Carey and Officer Rigg in leading a SWAT team to the factory.
Yeah.
Officer Rigg was the actor that played him was actually originally up for the
position of the drug dealer, right? But then they didn't want to like do a stereotypical black guy's the drug dealer thing, right?
So actually, it worked out in his benefit because he goes from being a side player in this to being a main character in Saw 5.
Right.
So
yeah,
worked out good for him.
Yep. So I don't know if I have watched too many freaking horror movies, and maybe it's just that I've seen a lot of Saw movies. I don't know, but this obvious fucking trap that is set for them, like, he made it easy. If he didn't want them to know that it was the Wilson Steel factory, he wouldn't have left that on the trap for them to find it. Jigsaw's a smart man. Yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. But he covers his bases.
He covers his tracks for the most part.
He goes down to the tiniest detail that he can possibly get to. The SWAT team walks straight into his trap. The first guy literally gets his shins, like his legs broken. I guess originally it was supposed to be a
razor blade.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be like a giant blade that's supposed to cut his legs off. But they felt that was just too much.
Yeah. But then like the cage that they're in, like electrocutes that. Yeah. I mean, like basically like the first responders get trapped. And then it makes everybody else swarm into the building against their better judgment. It's just, oh god. He lures everybody else in. And then they're all in there.
There they find John Kramer sitting at a table waiting for them.
Yeah. Makes it a little too easy.
You got a first clue there, Sherlock!
Yeah, as if you didn't realize that the whole place was a trap. Don't you realize that this is also a trap? Like especially Detective Carey, who's supposed, this is
She's been living, breathing Jigsaw for a couple years now. So yeah.
Actually, I will need to remain here while you deal with your problem, Detective Matthews.
He points out a room with a security monitor showing 8 people trapped in the house.
Included in the group is Detective Matthews' son, Daniel, and 7 other victims, Xavier, Jonas, Laura, Addison, Abby, okay. Abby, Gus, and Amanda. The only person known, at least at this point, to have survived one of his traps.
Right.
There will be blood.
A nerve agent is filling the house that will kill them within 2 hours.
2 hours, yep.
But John assures Matthews that if he follows the rules of his own game, he will find Daniel in a safe place. Note that, because we're going to come back to that later.
Yeah, we sure are.
You've reached Daniel's phone. He's not in right now.
Carrie suggests to Matthews, Detective Carrie suggests to Detective Matthews to sit down with John and, like, basically kind of just try to buy some time while they
try to trace the feed.
The feed for the security footage, yeah. So basically they're waiting for the tech. He's trying to draw out time to wait for the tech team to get there.
During their conversation, John reveals to Matthews that the reason he started playing the games was because of a suicide attempt after his cancer diagnosis.
No, the cancer isn't what started me in my work.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's just so fucked up.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
most people would try to make the most of their life as opposed to making other people's lives miserable.
Right. Yeah. As a person who watched someone die of cancer very quickly,
Same.
And yeah, I mean, your dad, how fast? Like
Within a month.
Within a month, yeah. And
Within a month. Well, within a month from when we got the diagnosis,
Right.
he was gone.
Right, yeah. And for us, it was about 3.5 months from when my husband was diagnosed to when he was gone. We made every possible minute count. The best that we possibly could.
Absolutely.
And this guy, decides to just check out early. Which, I mean, you know...
I mean, to an extent, if you're going to go and you can do it, go out on your own terms, I guess.
agree. I would agree.
I guess.
I would agree.
I think it's the coward's way out, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, like for me and my late husband, we had very candid discussions about what he wanted for the end of his life. He did not want to be on a ventilator. He did not want to be hooked up to machines. Basically, he told me if at any point a machine is keeping me alive, turn that machine off. And you have to, I mean, with end of life care, you have to be very clear about that, you know? It doesn't seem like John's got much family or anybody else to leave things
does have a
behind
wife,
too. Right.
Or he had a
Right.
wife.
So
He
yeah.
was pregnant with his kid.
Yeah.
That they were going to call Billy.
Yeah. But he survives running his car off of a cliff. He pulls a piece of rebar or car, maybe part of the car, I don't know, out of the side of himself, but he found a new appreciation for life, and the games are intended to help his victims develop that same appreciation for their own lives.
Those who don't appreciate life do not deserve life.
The group is informed by microcassette, which is Jigsaw's MO.
Yeah.
That antidotes are hidden throughout the house, which is interesting because there are 8 people in the house, but there's only ever 6 antidotes found.
Yeah. Very interesting.
One is in the room's safe, and the tape provides a cryptic clue.
Yeah. Very cryptic clue.
The numbers are in the back of your mind.
Follow the rainbow.
Follow the rainbow, and X marks the spot. Yeah, so...
Let the game begin.
Gus finds a note with a key saying, do not use this key on the door, to which Xavier, I think it is, actually goes to use the key, but Gus is looking through the peephole, and as soon as the key is turned, a gun shoots straight through Gus's
Yeah, it looked like a
head.
350 Magnum, honestly.
Yeah, it was a trap that was connected to the door.
Right. Xavier actually was not meant to be played by Frankie G in this.
Yeah.
It was Henry Rollins was initially cast as Xavier, but due to scheduling conflicts, he had to drop out.
I know.
So we got
so
Frankie
sad,
G
because
instead.
I would have actually loved to see Henry Rollins in this character.
I don't know, because
I like this character.
By the end of it, I hated him.
No, I mean, I hate him. I hate him, but I think the character is a strong character.
No.
Like he's hateable to the nth degree.
But I would have hated trying to hate Henry Rollins, though. Frankie G's easy to hate. Henry Rollins isn't.
I could see hating Henry Rollins by the end of it. Although I mean, I love him personally, and I can separate that from the character. Anyways.
Once the door opens, they search the house and find a basement. There we find out that Obi was the one that kidnapped everyone and brought them to the house.
Yeah. Is it Obi or is it Abby? I think we've already done this once in the video.
Yeah.
It's Abby, right?
Abby.
Okay. Because he corrects them. Like, they say, like, what's Obi? And he says it's Abby. Anyways, so...
My name.
Yeah. Abby then climbs into a furnace
To get...
it's like a cremation furnace.
Yeah,
to get the 2 vials of antidote. But as he climbs in, it closes behind him, which triggers that... No?
As he climbs in, he grabs one...
Right.
And he reaches for the second one. And
he can't get it connected to the chain, right?
And he grabs it and he yanks it, and the chain pulls the door shut, and that's when the furnace kicks on, and they can't get it open.
You know what's funny? Is that inside, there is a note on the side of the furnace. I don't remember what it said, but I think it said something like, twist here, and it was pointing to...
Once you are in hell, only the devil can help you out.
He probably could have saved himself.
I don't know if he could have saved himself, but I think he might have been able to turn down the flames.
Yeah. Either way, but he didn't see it.
It's actually interesting to note because later in the film, with the razor box scene, there's actually a blurred out padlock on the top of the box.
Right.
The reason why these things are there is because these people are so desperate and so clueless as to their surroundings that they're not paying attention to simple solutions to problems right in front of them.
Exactly.
So
people rush straight in. I mean, it's a common thread through the entire movie.
Yeah,
through the entire movie.
In another room, Xavier's test involves digging through a pit filled with syringes to retrieve a key to a steel door within 4 minutes. The reason for all the needles being that he was a drug dealer. However...
It will be like finding a needle in a haystack.
He instead throws Amanda into the pit of needles. And, yeah, So, if you have any kind of fear of needles... Actually, I have a little story to tell. Going back to the cremation and the fire. But if you have any kind of fear of needles, like this scene would absolutely make your skin crawl.
What's even worse is like right before they filmed that scene, somebody dropped an actual box of real needles in there, and they had to go try to find the needles in a stack of needles.
Yeah, literally. So what I was going to say is, I saw this in the theater. This is one of, I think, only 2 Saw movies that I saw in the theater. I saw it on opening night. This was it was like literally holiday. It was October 28th, 2005, when this movie came out in theater. Approximately 1 week before that, I set fire to my entire apartment. Not my entire apartment, the kitchen. I was making fried chicken, the grease caught on fire, and while I was at the premiere of this movie, my arm was wrapped all the way up to here because I had 2nd-degree burns past my elbow and 3rd-degree burns, well, actually, it's this arm, 3rd-degree burns across the entire part of my hand. You can see, if you really want, maybe we can flash a picture of what my hand looked like afterwards, because I do have that and I can send it to you. It's disgusting, though. But yeah, I had 3rd-degree burns all over the entire part of my hand. So as I'm sitting in this packed theater...
I think we might get kicked off YouTube if you do that.
We might. As I'm sitting in this packed theater and this man is burning to death...
PTSD?
Oh my god, I was sitting there like, no. Like, that is one of my biggest fears, is burning to death. Like, that... That's one way I do not want to go. Like,
so, important note to take away from this is we do not let Jenny cook anymore.
I cook. I just don't cook with grease and oil and stuff like that anymore. I've learned. I was only like 21, maybe 22 at the time. I was young, okay? I was a baby.
I mean, to be fair, that is what Abby called us.
Yeah.
I don't know if you
called us babies.
He called us babies because we were so much younger. Whatever. True. Not all of us can be born in the 70s, Abby.
Gosh. We missed our chance.
Right. Throughout the game, the group discusses connections between them and determined that each has been to prison except for Daniel. Actually, I don't think they've all been to prison. There's been 3 of them that were...
4.
4.
The drug dealer, the prostitute. So, Xavier, Addison, the girl who was supposedly for prostitution. The other girl, Laura, admits to it right before she passes away that she was set up or framed.
And we don't even
then
know,
Jonas.
and we don't
for
even
sure.
know about the guy that got his head blown out in the beginning.
Exactly. So the common thread seems to be that they have all been incarcerated at some point.
Detained at bare minimum.
Detained at bare minimum, but definitely arrested and put into the prison system at some point, whether that just be a local jail or whatever. But yes. Right. So Xavier returns after after the pit of needles. Xavier ends up returning to the safe room and finds a number on the back of Gus's neck.
Gus is the guy that got his face blown off.
In the very beginning. Yeah. After realizing that the numbers are the combination for the safe, which was the clue at the beginning of the movie, or at least at the beginning of their game, he kills Jonas, in order to see his...
With the Steve Harrington baseball bat.
Yeah, he did. Steve Harrington, it could be Negan's baseball bat too. Either one.
It was 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah, Negan's
is barbed wire.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
I can go get Lucille.
Definitely Harrington.
Definitely a Steve Harrington.
Lucille. He kills Jonas and begins basically going back and finding the dead people, finding out their numbers, and starts to hunt down everybody else.
Tries to.
Yeah.
Laura dies from the nerve agent after finding a clue that reveals Daniel's identity.
Yeah.
Oops. A picture of him and his dad. It's then that they all realize that Matthews was the one that planted evidence resulting in all of their arrests.
Or at least he was the arresting officer, and it's definitely like he.
Amanda definitely says that he planted evidence.
Well,
on her.
and then John Kramer says it directly too, because remember he shows that there's the files of every single person that's in this. Like the files are in one of the drawers, so every single person was arrested by Matthews, and most likely had some kind of evidence tampered with or planted.
Oh, most likely.
So he's a great guy. Great detective.
Yeah.
After becoming angry with the revelation, Addison basically says, fuck you all, and leaves on her own, and finds another room with a glass box containing the antidote right in the middle.
This is the box that had the padlock on the top of it that she blatantly overlooks. She reaches in, but her arms become trapped because the openings are rigged with hidden razor blades.
Yeah, and it didn't even really matter when she put her second arm in because she pulled the freaking antidote and lost it all right away anyways. She sticks her other arm in there and then she's real fucked.
So here's the thing with this though. That trap was not meant for her. That trap was meant for somebody else.
Yeah.
There was a trap that was designed for her because she's a prostitute and she uses her looks. Initially, it was supposed to be like blades wrapped around her wrists.
Right.
And she was going to have to lean forward into what basically tantamounted to a waffle iron, and she had to scar her face to get free.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, interesting, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Xavier then enters the room where she is struggling to get out, screaming, like really screaming for help. And he basically just reads the number on her neck and leaves her to die.
Because I don't remember him moving her hair at all. I'd like to know how he read that fucking number.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway. Amanda and Daniel find a tunnel from the first room leading into a dilapidated bathroom where we find Adam and Zepp's bodies and a very mummified foot.
Yeah, I was going to say, and Dr. Gordon's foot.
Which, that set from the first film was completely destroyed, so they had to watch that movie frame by frame to reconstruct this as faithfully as they could for this film. But you know
what is really cool is that the entire thing, the insides of the house, inside the warehouse, all of it was filmed in one building. One building. All just different sets, all in one building. Which is really freaking cool. But yeah, so after Xavier then corners them in this disgusting bathroom with the decaying bodies, Amanda taunts him by basically implying that he has a number on his neck and we're not going to read it for you.
Xavier responds by attempting to use the blade of the knife to see the back of his neck and realizes that he can't fucking do it, so he grabs the flesh and carves off a piece. And ironically enough, he was not meant to put it in his pocket. He was meant to like look at it and throw it down.
Right.
But Frankie G improvised putting it in his pocket, and the producers loved it so much.
Yeah,
like,
they thought it was hilarious. Like, yeah.
We're keeping
I mean, he's
that in
basically
there.
like, I'm not going to tell you what my number is. That shit's going in my pocket. Come and get it, bitch. So funny.
So, yeah, I just think that's interesting.
I agree. Xavier then charges at them, and Daniel, who was, Amanda basically said he's gone.
Right,
You know?
right.
And he was kind of pretending to be dead.
Mm-hmm.
Slits his throat with the very same fucking hacksaw that Dr. Gordon used to cut off his ankle, or his foot.
Yeah, and we know it's Dr. Gordon's too, because Adams broke.
Yeah. Yep.
So we know that's the one, right?
Yep.
Having seen Xavier chasing his son, Matthews assaults John and forces him to lead him to the house.
Yeah, so this is all happening on camera. Like, he sees this on camera, and then basically just, like, beats the ever-living fuck out of a stage 4 cancer patient.
Yep. Yeah, that happened. Interesting.
Great
thing,
cop. Great
right.
cop.
I mean...
Game over.
But in his defense, at that point, he's no longer a cop. He's a father trying to find his son.
Agreed.
That's
But
about the only
also, there's
redeeming
been
factor
like
here.
so many things that just say bad cop, bad cop, bad cop, bad cop.
No, I agree.
Yeah,
he's
but-
a piss-poor cp, but he's
Agreed.
being a good father at this
I
point.
would lose my fucking.
I
mind
would.
on
I
somebody
would straight
too.
up murder someone to find my kid.
Yep.
I would do that.
I would murder
In a heartbeat.
multiple
And I
people
would
to find my
smile in my fucking mugshot as they take the goddamn picture. Anyway, there's actually a reference to a Wes Craven film here. Do you know what it is?
Yeah. So, I read this earlier. So, when they're driving, Matthews is driving John Kramer to the house that,
And he keeps just beating the fuck out of him in the van.
like motherfucker. Anyways, but he's like, "Are we almost there yet?" And he says, "Yeah, it's the last house on the left."
Yeah, there we go. All right.
Yep, there it is.
Alright.
There it is. The tech team is finally able, like John and Detective Matthews are gone at the house. The tech team finally tracks where the video feed is coming from. So Riggs and his team, Riggs is like basically the head of the SWAT team.
Right.
And his team go to the house and start searching the house, and it's then, as Carrie's basically like calling back to them, like, why can't I see you?
Where are you? Where's your 20?
And that's when she realizes that the game took place long before they ever even stepped foot into the warehouse.
Approximately 2 hours.
Yeah, at least 2 hours. When I was reading through Wikipedia, the Wikipedia page said that it happened days before, but I don't see how that's possible.
No, it didn't happen days before. It happened literally hours before.
Yeah.
2 hours before. Like, everything that we're watching in real time, or what we thought was real time on
and
monitors.
there is some definite real-time moments in this movie, too.
No, there is.
Some.
Not,
it's not a real-time
But not
movie.
for Matthews and his team
Right.
with the people that are locked in the house.
Right.
That all happened before, because soon after the timer for Matthews' game expires and a nearby safe unlocks to reveal that Daniel was in a safe place all along.
Inside the safe.
With an oxygen mask.
Inside the warehouse, right there with his dad.
Literally
the whole time.
feet from Detective Matthews. He was right there. And
The whole time. And you know, there's hints, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's the same safe that was at the house. We do see it in the warehouse, okay? So there's hints that this took place
that is true,
beforehand.
because when Detective Matthews goes down into that trap door, the safe is completely gone.
Gone. Yep.
There's also
And
there's also other clues that were in the house that are there, like the rope that Amanda grabs and various other things are there in that room with Detective Matthews that are being shown on those monitors. Although the monitors have no sound or anything like that. So
Right. Yeah. So, unaware of these events, Matthews enters the house alone and makes his way down into the basement bathroom, where he finds a pig-masked figure sitting in the bathtub waiting for him, who attacks him and injects him with something that very quickly subdues him. Like, he points his gun at her and can't even fire it. So, oh, and I guess I ruined it by saying her. But hopefully you've watched this movie before you've watched our review. So
I mean, I would think so. He awakens shackled at the ankle to a pipe and finds a tape recorder left by Amanda, who reveals...
Hello, Eric.
she had become John's accomplice after surviving her first trap.
Yep. So she was working with him all along. She was the one on the inside. And honestly, she didn't need the antidote. She already had the antidote. She was not sick the whole time.
If you pay attention throughout this entire film, Amanda does not cough, never starts feeling weak, never starts feeling woozy.
And everybody else is like coughing.
Everybody else,
convulsing.
Everybody else is Daniel. He doesn't show as many signs, but he does have like redness around his nose.
Yeah, and it's like his skin looks really gross.
Right.
And yeah.
There's also when Detective Matthews goes into that trap door in the house where the safe was.
Yeah.
There's a used syringe there.
Yeah.
Which is
they show it
supposed to be the antidote that Amanda administered to Daniel to save his life.
Right. Because that was the point. The point was that Daniel wasn't not supposed to die. I mean, okay, so he shoplifted a couple of times. He's not a...
No, he was in this situation because of his father.
Yep. And it had nothing to do with Daniel needing to learn a lesson.
No.
I mean, maybe he needed to learn a little bit of a lesson. Maybe a little. But not like this.
Nah.
Whew. So, Amanda had helped John set up Matthews.
It is I who will carry on John's work after he dies.
His test during the game. Basically, she just intended to continue John's work after he's gone. So, and she says as much.
Amanda then appears and seals the door, saying the famous line from all of these films.
Game over.
I'll fucking kill you!
Right. Kind of ditzy like. Leaving Matthews to allegedly die.
Yes.
In the same bathroom that Adam and Zepp are in, and now Xavier's body is in there as well.
Right.
John hears his screams outside, and he just fucking smiles.
Yep. Beaten to hell, just sitting there waiting. But yeah, that smug little look on his face. Honestly, I think it's a perfect ending. But that's where our story ends for now, because as we all know, we get 8 more movies after this, with more on the way, which I'm, honestly, after the success of last year's Saw X, or Saw 10, however you want to call it.
I call it Saw X.
Yeah, I've been calling it Saw X. That movie was fantastic.
That being said, though, that movie actually takes place in between Saw 1 and 2.
Which is why I kind of wanted to mention it, because if you haven't seen Saw X yet, let's say maybe you're a person who hasn't seen the entire franchise, like me, where I kind of lost it after about 5. I was like, I don't know if I can take any more of this crap. Anyways, I will go back and watch them.
You better.
I know.
They are good.
Because I've definitely watched even the bad stuff in all the other franchises, so why wouldn't I go back and watch this,
you
right?
watched Terrifier, so...
She better knock it off. She better not.
I will die on this one.
Knock it off. Anyways, yeah, this, like I said at the start of this movie, or this review, this is my favorite of the franchise.
2 Bloody Machetes Up from us to you.
Yep.
Highly
the bigger
recommend.
budget.
Right.
The tiebacks to the first movie, incorporating everything all together.
The way that they recreated the bathroom, you couldn't even tell it was a different
There's no way.
set.
Yeah, I would have never known. Would have never known that was a destroyed bathroom that they then recreated.
Yep.
The special effects, the practical effects are so good. The blood is so good. The gore is so good. It is, yeah.
I'm going to call out a group that we're on Facebook, Central Illinois Horror Society.
Yep.
They actually proposed a question this morning. What franchise is highly overrated? And the vast majority of the answers for that was this franchise, because it's just torture porn.
Yeah.
Guess what? We like torture porn. We like gore, bloody effects.
Yes.
Severed limbs. We want it all.
That's why I just don't understand why you don't want Terrifier, because that shit's gory as fuck. No, I'm not going to go there. We're on a different video. We're not going there. We'll argue about that some other time.
So we've
done it enough here.
We're going to send this straight back to that cursed bathroom.
Yeah. Throw it on out of here. I don't know about you, Hallie, but you ready to take another trip back over to the world of Stephen King?
Are you feeling nostalgic, or are you going to do something newer?
Well, we really could. The title of this could be nostalgic or newer.
Yeah, that is true.
Completely honestly, but we're going to go nostalgic for this one.
We're going to go nostalgic to 1989 and revisit Pet Sematary.
Yes.
Or, we're going to visit it for the first time, but you know, we've seen it before,
Yeah,
obviously.
I saw this at a pretty young age.
Honestly, it had been a very long time since I had seen this.
It had been a very long time for me, too. So
there was a lot of stuff that I had forgotten from it.
Yep. Make sure you guys come back next week. Well, it might have been a hair. I don't know. It was floating in my vision. Anyway, sorry.
Or maybe Jenny's got the shinning.
A shinning, huh?
Yeah, you know.
The shinning.
You know, because we don't want to get sued.
Right.
For those of you that don't know, that was a Simpsons reference.
It sure is. But make sure you come back next week because we have got a lot to say about this movie and about Stephen King and about the way this movie was made, and just there's a lot to talk about with this one. So come back next week. In the next week, go ahead and watch this. I think it's available on Apple TV if you have Apple TV. It's streaming on multiple different places.
We will put those right here.
Yeah, but
and
definitely
you can check
make
those
sure
out
you
there.
watch this because it's probably been a while for you too. Let's be honest. Watch this and then come back next week and join us when we break down Pet Cemetery.
Until then, be sure to slash that subscribe button
And stab the like button.
and ring a link in that gray bell so you don't get them live and stay up to date on everything that we do.
And until next time, we will see you all in the afterlife.